and welcome to this catch-up. My name's Craig Waters, live at vForum, and I happen to have a very special guest with me today. If you could introduce yourself, that'd be great.
Hi, I'm Steve Herrod. I'm the CTO at VMware. I've been to Sydney, this is my 5th trip here, I think, for doing these vForums. Enjoyed it quite a bit.
Cool, thanks. Yeah. So, if you could, we could start just by. I've got about 5 or 6 questions I want to go through. There's some interesting ones through there, but we'll start just by. You mentioned vForum there. What brings you to vForum this year specifically, and can you tell us about your past experiences with vForum? If anything stands out,
Yeah. So vForum, I think a lot of people know, it's our version where we're able to go out into different countries and do kind of versions of vMworld if everyone can't make it there. And vForum Sydney's been one of the biggest ones. I think we had over 6,000 signups this year, and many thousand people here. So it's very fun to come here, especially Australia, New Zealand is one of the more advanced countries from a virtualization standpoint. So we come here, we share what's going on, get a lot of feedback, and have a little fun along the way. Cool,
that's really good. Yeah, a few people have said that about the how the uptake for virtualization in Australia has been an advancement to some of the other countries, and how this has kind of been a test bed for some of the new technologies and the new announcements and stuff. So we're very happy to be your test bed anytime you want. So
test bed.
Yeah, no, that's good. So look. I had the opportunity to go to VMworld for the first time this year, and I was blown away. And the first thing I thought was, well, why have I never been here before? You did some really good stuff around. Myself being a vMug leader, I'm also a vExpert. So we had the Office of the CTO function. There was the vMug luncheon, which yourself, Pat and first name terms now, Pat and Paul all attended, which was a fantastic thing. I couldn't believe I'd never been before, sort of thing. So, but in your opinion, for the announcements of VMworld this year, what is there something specific really that you could point out and say, for me, this was the thing I was most passionate about, and it really excited me?
Yeah, VMworld's crazy, as you saw, 25,000 people in San Francisco. Yeah. And a lot of announcements come out from VMware, a lot come out from partners all over the place. They almost do all their press releases then. But probably the two biggest things we did there, first is we announced the vCloud Suite, which is really our way of building up the software-defined data center, something we're talking about. But really a suite of tools pulled together that makes it very easy to create a private cloud. And then the other side of things was on how you consume applications. So we also launched the Horizon Suite, both suites, and that's really delivering what we're calling the multi-device workspace, a way that you can interact with all of your apps and all your data on, certainly on a PC, but on a mobile phone, a tablet, etc.
Cool, and they were the ones that really stood out for you.
Those are the two biggest ones. Lots of other stuff.
Yeah, they're pretty big. Don't worry, they are pretty big. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah. So, look, I was interested to, we mentioned there just briefly about the Office of the CTO. What faction of the Office of the CTO really interests you and excites you? It's all about the latest innovation, but can you talk about what you're passionate about, where your passion really lies in that area?
Well, so our job in life is really to help make sure the company's in the right place 3 years from now, which is always hard. You have to predict where things are headed and try to get there aggressively. So what I really like is we get to meet with a lot of customers and partners and vExperts and all over the place, get a lot of opinions, and then we try to make our own judgment on what the ones that are most likely to be right are. And then we get to go out and prototype ideas and really show what we think could be working, and then ultimately turn that into a product, hopefully, if it plays out. So we do a lot of prototyping. Lately we've been doing everything from mobile phone virtualization to high-performance computing analysis, and everything in the middle. So
and everything in between, right.
Cool stuff.
Cool, excellent, that's fantastic, So, look, I've been asking this question to everybody, and I think it's specifically to you, because I think you're the brainchild behind the software-defined data center. And so, what's your vision of the software-defined data center? How does it compare to cloud, and how do you see it changing our ecosystem? VMware's done a really good job of changing the way we do compute, and it looks like storage and networking, particularly the Nicira acquisition, looks like you're heading down those roads as well. What do you see? For you personally, what is it?
This has been fun. So this is definitely the big area for us. So first of all, the difference. So cloud computing is a way of consuming infrastructure and applications, self-service and elastic. It's all these different traits. Software-defined data center is the way that we think is how you should build clouds. So it is the way of building a cloud and building it in an efficient way. And as you mentioned, it's certainly building upon our strength, which is virtualizing servers and that sort of thing. But really recognizing to really get to the level of speed that you want to get to, you need to virtualize the rest of the data center. And software definition is kind of fun because you're taking existing hardware is there, but you're really blending it all together and using automation in a new way, and that's pretty critical. It's going to be a lot of changes to a lot of hardware vendors, a lot of changes to what we do as well.
Yeah, and what do you see as that being the impact of the ecosystem? I mean, VMware's done a really good job of garnering the support of their channel and their partners. Like how do you see that be impacted?
Well, I mean, the good news is that most of our partners, most storage companies, a lot of network companies, are already moving towards this direction. A lot of them are really shipping very smart software, running on top of generally industry standard hardware, with some exceptions. And so they're heading down that general direction. I think now we're giving them an umbrella framework to fit into. And ultimately, everyone is trying to be the way that you build clouds, and I think they're all excited by that as well.
Yeah, excellent. That's really good. Look, next question is about a home lab. Do you have a home lab? Do you get your hands on the tools?
I have a lot of good toys at home that I play with, but probably for the most heavy use, we do VMware work all over the place at VMware, of course. And so particularly Horizon and mobile phone virtualization and all those pieces, we've been using for several months now at VMware.
Okay,
And it definitely gets you a chance to see what it's like, get some suggestions on how to make it better.
So eating your own dog food or drinking your own champagne, as they
Drinking your own
say,
champagne.
I think that's more the posher term, I think. But so
it's funny. Paul Moritz, our last CEO, he is credited with creating the term "eating your own dog food."
Wow, excellent.
You can go look it up on Wikipedia if you don't believe me.
I'm quoting the best. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah. Can you give us some indication of like the sort of stuff that you do day to day with Horizon? Like how you utilize it. I had Bogum on earlier on, and he was talking about using Octopus, or is it Horizon Data now? Is it?
Horizon Data.
Yeah. Like so. What kind of stuff are you doing like with Horizon? Yeah.
So I have joined the BYOD generation. I've bought my own way too many things, too many toys. So I have iPads, I have iPhones, I have Android devices, and of course I have my Mac that I work on. And what it does, it really does give me one constant way of getting access to my files through Horizon Data. Although I like Project Octopus name.
Yeah, it's quite a cool name. But
but also I use one common place to go to get access to all the applications I use, particularly all the SaaS applications.
Okay,
And we do single sign-on, so I kind of go there. I get started on Workday for HR, and I go to Salesforce, all these different things.
So, and you honestly believe it has changed the way that you consume your desktop and how you're using
no question about it. It's a lot more efficient for me. I know what is the latest application supported, and I know it's easier for IT, so they don't have to do one-off solutions for everybody.
Sure, yeah. No, that's great. That's a good story, that is. Good story. Look, I've got a last question I wanted to ask you, really, and it was really around a friend of mine, Mike Laverick, I think started the movement on it a while ago now, and it's just about the VMTN community and about, as an IT professional, I find it hard getting access to licensing, and after the 60-day evaluation expires, we have to go and do some clever stuff around getting our home labs back together. Can you comment on where we're at? I know it's been going a little while now, and I'm sure it's not something that's easily fixed overnight or anything, but could you comment about how your offering's being developed? And I'm a vMug leader as well, so I don't know whether the vMug Advantage subscription could be of some assistance in delivering that. Can you tell me something about
two different things? So Mike called me out publicly and said, help us with VMTN. So we hired him. That made it easy. But no, I think there's a serious need for VMTN, for a way to get access to licenses, especially for people who are writing up on it and reviewing it and such. So we are working on it. I will caution you, it's turning out to be much harder than we all originally thought.
I bet.
There's so many different license keys, and how to manage them properly has been a challenge. So I don't have a date to announce now, but I assure you it's in progress, and hopefully we'll get a date soon. The other side of it, I think the vMug Advantage, so we are looking at a way that the vMug groups can be self-sufficient and that people can put some skin in the game as they join, but we also want to have them get even more out of it. So we haven't made any decisions, but you could certainly imagine vMug Advantage members having a lot of incentives, including things like access to VMTN.
Yeah, that'd be excellent.
Really want to incent people to do that.
Oh, that's really interesting to hear. I mean, obviously being a vMug leader, hearing the sort of things you're saying there, that's music to my ears. Like that's been a lot of our problem is garnering subscription and garnering funds, so that we're not as dependent upon investment from partners,
right?
And that then leads to control of content. We really want to steer towards the the community presentations and that
that's what I like about the program. And if you can be a little more self-sufficient, then you can be more independent.
That would be ideal. I mean, I heard. I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, but I heard you actually were on the Brown Bag podcast the other week.
Yeah, just the other week.
Yeah, so that, again, really appreciate that kind of support.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Autolab at all? Have you heard about that technology? Yeah, I'll have to hook you up with Autolab. There's a guy I know, Alistair Cook, who could tell you quite a bit about it. But that's basically a scripted process of building a data center, a software-defined data center. So the whole scripting of building the vCenter, building the ES6 host, building the Windows, the whole thing. So
very cool.
Yeah, interesting thing. Yeah. So look, Steve, I really appreciate your time today. I know you've been a busy man.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, and who knows, we may have another catch up in the future. Yeah.
It's been a pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
yeah.
Greg.
Thanks,
Bye.
yeah.